Welcome back. This is the HomeStretch. Quite a lot of events we're following. Remember, we bring you news as it happens. And right now, currently, there's a crowd that has converged outside the anniversary towers. And from the pictures that we were seeing, I don't know if Neville, you can pull them up once again. It is evident that we do have Jubilee and NASA supporters just chanting and, of course, taking part in that demonstration. Remember that it is purely a NASA initiative. And however, we've taken note that indeed the crowds have Jubilee and NASA supporters. And so far, there has been no incidents of any kind of conflict, which is something my panel actually agree that it is good. But, you know, as we talk about demonstrations, the problem here comes when some individuals, and Peter Lekki talked about this, and then Gadi, tend to take advantage of such scenarios right here. And where the bigger question is, how can the police, for instance, tell the crowds apart, or even you know, how to control such incidences?
I actually believe the police, so far, they've managed this dispute or this standstill in a good way, because so far we've not really had a big complaint to the police. Yesterday, I believe, you know, around Thika Highway, there was a protest on reference to Babu Owino, and today, actually, I believe is in court, and I believe this actually is tied towards what is happening of the security being pulled for Kalonzo. So a lot of things actually seems to be giving us an hint on the direction, you know, NASA and Jubilee are trying to pull. I think at the end of the day, the person responsible for safety, the person responsible for economy, and the person responsible for making sure everything goes well is actually the president. And I won't be surprised that actually, as much as the people might expect, I'll disagree with my friend here, is that I won't be surprised that he's the one actually who was...
Sorry to interrupt, a bit of a change of events there. I do not know what transpired between a minute when I spoke and now. Now we're seeing a bit of tear gas being used to disperse the crowds there. And forgive our shaky shots. Remember, our cameraman is trying to bring you the best they can from this particular incident, at the same time maintaining his safety. But just moments ago, we had seen a large crowd outside the anniversary towers, and everything was fine. There was a bit of chanting, matters peace, but as we can see now, actually the situation has sort of changed, and the police are using tear gas to disperse the crowds. In case you do not know what is happening, remember these were planned demonstrations against IEBC planned by the National Super Alliance in what they say they need the irreducible minimums demands actually met ahead of the October 26th election. So we shall be catching up with Shukri Wachu to just find out what exactly changed, because, you know, that was 5 minutes ago, everything seemed to be okay. But this has since changed. We shall maintain those pictures on the sidelines, but we were talking about crowd control just before this happened. Sorry, Peter, for interrupting you.
Yeah, so far, actually, the police actually have not had major issues from both sides. And I believe maybe today things will start changing again. I don't know. But again, in my opinion, I'm starting to see where the president is reaching out to Article 3.2, where if he suspects that somebody is trying to form government outside the realms of constitution, then he can actually take action. I won't be surprised. If I'm saying this for the fact that at the moment we are speaking right now, I believe a petition has been put in anti-corruption for the registrar of the Supreme Court, where she provided wrong evidence to the 4 judges, actually the 6 judges. And I believe if you were to bring this, then you are seeing these events are actually kind of really systematically coming out properly. So, so many things are tied. As much as we are focused now on the IEBC, things are not rosy as well in the Supreme Court, because there are mistakes that were done. And if that was to go through, where Esther will actually be acquitted, or, for example, you know, taken to jail and things like that, then we might be forced to go back to the High Court, because it's actually the High Court that really, the Supreme Court actually is the reason why we are in this mess in the first place. Again, NASA is pushing for now from demos now to mass action. You know, sorry, actually from IEBC to move out. I mean, to remove Chiloba, now they are starting to go towards, you know, mass action. So again, you know, things are changing, and they are changing so fast.
Okay. Gavi, your response to this, I don't know, we have to get the exact details.
We have to, because we are just blocks away from anniversary towers, we have to at least assure our listeners and our viewers and our family that we are very safe.
Yes.
And your guidance. Yeah. I am looking at a situation I've seen in other countries where demonstrations are done as per the law. One, the organizers must take responsibilities. Secondly, we have some timelines that between this time to this time we'll be demonstrating. During that period, then if it's a street, everybody is aware that you're not going to that street if you're not part and parcel of that demonstration. And the organizers must take responsibility. That is what happens in other countries. They take responsibility that in the case of any destruction or any action contrary to the law, they take responsibilities, parties are fined, organizations are taken to court and all that. I think that is what we need now in Kenya. That if it's NASA or any other organization, you say between this time and this time, we'll be demonstrating along this street so that everybody, even the security can be, you can also even be given security. And then you have to be very clear when you're informing the police to get security, that our intention is A, B, C, D, X, Y, Z. But at any time when you stand there in the public and say, our intention is to go to anniversary towers and chuck some people out, immediately, for you as security head, you are supposed now to be on lookout. And that is one of the reasons that you can see these fights. And then we don't take responsibilities. People die, people are injured, properties are stolen, and we forget about it. You'll remember the matatus, some other times matatus were banned and everything. So nobody is taking responsibility about these things. So change the law. Organizers of any demonstration must first show that they are within the law. Secondly, they take responsibility, so which means that they must even secure their supporters. So that I am your brother's keeper. If I see you throwing a stone, I'm able to stop you because I will be responsible. This is what is missing. And then we are also brickbatting that any demonstration of ABCD group must have stones, must have violence. These are some of the things that must change. People must take responsibilities. And as a lawyer, I'm going to invite people basically. If you are injured, if your property is destroyed by the actions of people calling for a demonstration to do an illegality, then we need to move to court. We need to defend those people. In fact, what we call pro bono, free of charge. Let's go to court. Let's say, let that NASA or that organization that has brought this destruction
be accountable and be charged.
Get personal liability and organizational liability. Otherwise, we cannot allow this country to just run like any other banana republic. And it should not happen. It's not going to happen. And I'm very, up there people are saying, if the government cannot, and that has always happened, if the government cannot protect you, even in your family, if the government cannot protect you, then you get your allos, you get your pangas, and then you go and protect yourself. And it can happen that way, that if business people within the Nairobi or other towns believe that the government is not going to protect them, then they're going to have organizations and protect themselves, which is now going to cause further spiral to violence.
Okay, thank you, Gavi. Those pictures you're seeing there are members of the police and a few of those drawn from the press just trying to cover these events happening outside the anniversary towers. Just moments ago, the police actually tear gassed some of the crowds that were there, and of course that was in light to control them. Maybe they had gotten out of a bit of out of hand. Shukri Watu will tell us exactly what necessitated the move by the police to do this. So if you're in Nairobi, streets to avoid right now, I understand there was a bit of commotion on Moi Avenue, as well as what you can see here is University Highway, and this is right outside the Anniversary Towers, the headquarters of the IEBC, and there is a crowd that is being dispersed by the police, so do the necessary and avoid some of these areas. We'll keep you up to speed, and of course we're continuing to cover these activities as they happen. Now, yesterday we also saw a bit of demonstrations within parts of Nairobi following sentiments by Babu Owino, which led to that. And Steve, I'd like to bring you in on this and the fact that we saw these demonstrations, and I'll read out to you the charges that have been brought forth against him. But what are your reactions in regards to his sentiments, specifically seen as abusing the president, that led to some of the president's supporters actually come out blocking roads and just demonstrating against that?
Wow. First, I think I want to condemn with strongest terms possible the remarks by Babu Owino yesterday, the day before yesterday. I mean, going to an extent of calling or rather abusing the president. What did he said? The president, he said, Nimtoto. What did he say again?
I'd rather even skip saying what it's in public knowledge.
It's in public
no
domain,
need to
right?
revisit
But
that.
I think that is totally wrong. And a person of his caliber, I think he needs to really shape up and understand that where the kind of politics he's now doing is no longer university kind of politics. He needs to really sober up and know that there are a lot of other young people who are looking up for him as a role model. So I think he really need to really come back to his senses, and if possible, apologize to the president. I think this was very wrong, and not just wrong for the president. It was also wrong for mothers and women out there. You know, he really need to come out and apologize for the women out there, for mothers out there, and for the president for such demeaning remarks the day before yesterday. Yeah. And as a young person, as a youth leader, like I said, I don't want to condemn these remarks with strongest term possible.
Okay. Yeah. Peter, in response to Babu Owino's his sentiments and the kind of implications it had that we saw yesterday.
I believe actually the moment Babu Owino was actually doing what he was, if you were to look back, he's been doing this consistently, and it was reaching a point where he was almost not respecting any laws, anybody, and he was just doing his thing. And there are limits to everything you have to do, and there are limits of what you can say. And I believe, in my honest opinion, and again, I'm entitled to it, Uhuru has been very soft. He's been very soft to the extent he's been abused, he's been accused, and he's been blamed wrongly for many things. And I believe him coming out and, taking action, because obviously we know it's either him or the police, the head of the police, then it actually shows that we have to go by the rules. We have to abide by the rules. We cannot just operate under Banana Republic. And again, I will reinstate what I had said earlier, where I said a withdrawing of Kalonzo security today. I won't be surprised that it's actually tied towards the action where they don't respect the powers. Mm-hmm. And
George, your response to this, because a section of those who criticize Babu Owino's sentiments, or rather the manner he has been carrying out himself, do not see the position of, the National Super Alliance presidential candidate come out clear to condemn such acts within members of his party.
Personally, I won't speak for him. Yeah. But personally, I will castigate Babu Owino. As much as two wrongs don't make a right. There's the office of the presidency, which it doesn't matter who occupies it, must be respected. We agree with that. But also in condemnation of his counterpart, Moses Kuria, who does the same thing over and over again. I don't see this panel talking about that. What we need to do, we have to know clearly that we have respected women, children, and citizens of this country that do not need to hear some epithets of unimaginable levels because of ABC. So what my advice, or what I will say very clearly, is if we, as a moral society, from up there, watch what we say, because also we hear it up there, somebody calling somebody mganga and all this, what do you expect? It trickles down. So until we cut that off, we cannot have what we call selective amnesia, in the sense that we only castigate one side and let the other side get away with it. It's about time that we return this country to where it's supposed to be: respect, patriotism, and morals. Therefore, if we have to get Babu Owino, who has to pay for that, no doubt about that, then we have also to get Moses Kuri at once for some things that he has said, which we cannot let go because somebody's in government, somebody's not. Coming back to my friend here, again, we live in a civilized society, and every society moves a level up in refining itself better for their citizens and their country. We cannot employ the laws of the 1980, where the public order was siasa mbaya, maisha mbaya. Everybody pays taxes in this country, and they deserve what is in the law, just like the other people who we have actually kind of given or selected to take care of our laws. So that only to exercise your power, you have to withdraw security or put somebody in jail. It doesn't work like that. And I'll tell you honestly, President Uhuru is a very decent human being. That's why you're calling him soft, but he knows that he's following the law. So I just want to let you know that, if you don't mind. Thank you.
Okay. A bit of some disturbing images. The police there just, yeah, I think we'll just have to take that out a bit for as they try to control the crowds there. But a bit of clobbering there by some of the police officers. One person is being dragged there, perhaps being taken to the vehicles, and as you can see, that one definitely has been arrested. But you know, Gadi, this is you've seen the clobbering. There a bit of the issue on police brutality that was coming up. But in the meantime, just talk about Babu Owino and the kind of implications his sentiments had starting yesterday.
We are a family. We are a nation. We have our institutions. And the smallest unit within our society, our state, is the family. And at any time when you talk, you must also be respectful of that family. We have even the issues that everybody is listening to you. So anytime you are a reader, anytime you are a family man, you need to measure your words. I have no doubt that, and I can't say much because the law has taken its course, but basically we need to remember that at any time, as a reader, you should be emulated by how you are talking. That was very unfortunate for women of the Republic of Kenya. That was very unfortunate for leaders of the Republic of Kenya. But we cannot say much because the law is taking its course. And as my friend here says, this is not for one formation. It goes across the level for every government official and for every elected official. And that is why we call you honorable, because muheshimiwa, very simple Kiswahili word, muheshimiwa. You cannot be muheshimiwa when you stand there and use some words that cannot be used, even in private, you are wrong. Yeah. So we must temper this, because some of these people who are talking when this country blacks are people who are going to be in camps. They might think they're up there. They'll be in camps in Tanzania, in Uganda, in other places. Refugees, and we have seen what can happen to a country. We saw what 2007, we almost went. So let them not incite people. You can see, like now, the TV, what is showing. This is a father, this is a mother, this is a husband, and now, what image are we giving to our children? This fellow is now going to be taken to hospital. What is going to happen? Who is going to pay for him? Some may get even injured. We'll start now being called to as friends of these people for harambes, for all that. And you know there is a strike by nurses. So it is a very unfortunate time to be injured at this time, because even people are not working because of the elections.
You can use this opportunity to also give us your final words so you can take a short commercial.
Yes, for me, Wafula, thank you. And let every Kenyan reach out a hand of peace to any other Kenyan, because we are all in one vessel. And when this vessel sinks, we are not going to say we are rich or poor, this tribe or this age or anything, educated or non-educated. We are just going to sink with this boat. Okay. So get a hand of your neighbor immediately and say, we are one. Peace, peace, and peace. Politics will come and go, elections will come and go, and we are going to remain here as one.
Okay, Steve?
As I give my closing remarks,
yes.
I'd like to have about 3 issues to talk about. One is calling on the IEBC to continue being impartial and to continue to consult with all these stakeholders. It's true that it's very important, it's critical that they need to consult both guys from the Jubilee and guys from NASA for us to have an amicable solution to this. And that is very important. I also want to reach out to the NASA fraternity and tell them that I know they have these irreducible minimums, and I think they need to be very to reduce those irreducible minimums and be very factual about things that they really think are very practical to address. Okay. And again, a message to the youth out there as I conclude. I think I've been saying this in so many forums, that the youth, the future of this country depends on us. And if we do not protect it today, then it means we don't have a future to be proud of.
Thank you, Steve. Peter, very briefly, kindly.
I believe my final submission is I would like to urge Kenyans to stay calm. Democracy is expensive. And what you're seeing is actually part of our democracy. I will urge the NASA leaders, in particular Raila Amolo Odinga, to actually come out clear and say if he really wants election or is just trying to take us around without really, saying what he wants. And I will urge the president and his deputy to kind of follow the law, and make sure that all of us are safe, because at the end of the day, if something bad was to happen, they're the two responsible. So my final remarks actually is IEBC, keep up the good work you're doing. I believe you're under a lot of pressure. I will build you for 4 years, and I believe I am urging the citizens to trust the IEBC, and I believe they'll deliver a credible election.
Okay. George, you have a final word this afternoon.
Well, thank you again, Ian, and the viewers for keeping up with us. And I guess this is a very patriotic panel. But what I have to say that the last time I was here, I was pressing for consultation between IEBC and that. I'm happy to see that happening. It's taken towards the right direction, no doubt about that. But I think they need to go far enough. If they had a moral, credibility, ethic, and integrity obligation, they would have left on their own. We wouldn't have been dragged all through this mad that people are demonstrating for you to leave. My question is, what kind of a human being are you? Once you know you've done wrong, even when you're young, you confess to your mother and say, okay, I'm not going to do it again by leaving. But this is an office that you're not entitled to, that we've selected you to be. And we have also to let the IEBC know that systems do not fail. People with agenda fail the systems. Okay. And Kenya belongs to everyone, and nobody's going anywhere. Mm-hmm. Therefore, I'm urging also the youth and also the government that as soon as the elections are over, please initiate an economic program to give our youth and children jobs so that they can believe and believe and live in their country.
Okay, thank you very much.
That's all I have to say. Yeah. Peace, everybody. Join hands. God bless.
Okay, thank you very much. This afternoon, I've been speaking to George Jose. We have Peter Chemugut. We have Wakili Gadhi Irungu and Steve Ogutu. Let me take a short commercial break before they start singing now, perhaps a song in any song in unison here. We'll be right back after this short break. See you on Newscut as I bring you some of the top stories this afternoon. Stay tuned.